Fallout 4 will always hold a special place in my heart, as it was my first Fallout game and happened to be the first game I bought on the Xbox One. I have fond memories of playing this game, and with a new TV show having dropped and a next-gen update already released by the time this video comes out, I thought what better time to go on a trip down memory lane, revisiting one of my childhood favorites. But I didn't just want to play Fallout 4 again. No, I wanted to fully experience what this game has to offer, DLC and all. So I set out to get all achievements including DLCs for a total of 84 trophies, and let me tell you, it was a ride like no other. So sit back and relax as this is my journey through the Wasteland. My story starts like everyone else, picking my stats, watching the world end alongside my family, and sprinting towards the vault, our new home. Luckily avoiding the blast due to plot, and we find ourselves inside the vault entering totally non-cryogenic freeze pods that turn out actually to be cryogenic freeze pods. Who would have guessed? Anyways, after waking up from a long nap, we see our wife brutally murdered and our son kidnapped. As we begin our villain arc, we are put back to sleep only to wake up shortly after.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
After waking up from our pods, we set out to leave the vault, but first we make a pit stop at a terminal, pick up our first trophy, we pick up our pit boy, and we head to the surface. Not stepping foot outside in years has really done a number on our eyes, but that's nothing another trophy can't fix. After leaving the vault, we meet Dogmeat and take him along our adventure as our first companion. We'll need to find 5 for an achievement, so this is already a great start. We would head into Concord and we would enter the Museum of Freedom. At Preston Garvey's request, of course, we would fight the raiders off and eventually go into the room and meet him for the first time. We would find a magazine there, as well as a bobblehead, many that we would need to collect, and we would enter the power armor with a fusion core we got from down below. We would then rip the minigun off from the vertibird and begin slaughtering thousands of raiders. More like 20, but 1,000 just sounds cooler. We would also kill a Deathclaw, which normally in Fallout games you would do later on. We would head to Cambridge Police where we would run into Paladin Dance. After helping him clear out the fear ghouls and talking to him about going to ArtJet Studios, we would then level up to level 5, guaranteeing us another trophy. We would help Dance clear out ArcJet, and after one afterburner engine turned on later, we would enter into the Crown Jewel Diamond City, where our first course of action would be to run to the bases for a surprisingly rare achievement. After recruiting Piper to our cause, letting Dogmeat go, we would head back to Sanctuary where we would complete the quest from Preston Garvey, earning us an achievement. We would head back to Diamond City to the detective agencies to talk to Ellie, where she would inform us that her partner, Nick Valentine, had gone missing and then we needed to rescue him if we wanted to find Sean. We would head up Trinity Tower to get a bobblehead because we needed to collect 20, and we would finally head into the subway where we would fight off the Triggermen and eventually get to where Nick was held. We would kill Dino at the door, free Nick, and get a bobblehead as well. We would then peacefully leave the vault without trouble, leveling up to level 10, getting us another trophy, and after leaving the vault we would complete the quest, giving us another trophy as well. We would then investigate Kellogg's house, finding cigarettes. Not being able to track them ourselves, we would go find Dogmeat, who would conveniently teleport to the door for us. He would sniff the cigarettes and lead us to Kellogg.
This is fine.
Totally not too death
I'm okay
calls.
with the events that are unfolding currently.
Anyways, we would finally make it to Fort Hagen where we'd find another bobblehead, find Kellogg, the man who killed our wife, and that was surprisingly easy. I thought he would put up more of a fight than that. But anyways, after that we would then complete this quest, earning us another trophy. We would then head to the memory den to go inside of Kellogg's mind, see his former memories, and see our son Sean, giving us another trophy in that. Leaving the memory den, we'd head back to Sanctuary where we would complete quests for Preston Garvey, officially joining the Minutemen, getting another trophy. We would then head back to the police station where we would join the Brotherhood of Steel, giving us another trophy, run into a super mutant for the touchdown trophy, and head to Virgil, the super mutant from the Institute, to figure out how to teleport into the Institute. He would tell us about a courser chip that we needed to get, which we would track down a courser to green tech genetics, and after scaling the building we would finally run into the courser, and after not being able to solve the arguments peacefully, we would decide to take his life. And honestly, another easy fight in the books. These Institute guys aren't that much of a trouble. Upon taking his courser trip, we would of course get another achievement. After leaving the labs, we would decide to follow the Freedom Trail. Leading to the Old North Church, we would run into the railroad. They were not too friendly to start with, and they didn't want me to join their ranks without proving myself, so I would go meet with Deacon to help him clear out a diner. Upon clearing out the diner from the Sense, which was an easy task, we would finally be able to join the railroad, giving us another achievement. We would then meet up with Preston Garvey at the castle to retake it for the Minutemen. We would fight off Murlocs and also kill their offspring. Doing so would trigger the Queen to spawn. And let me just say, as a kid, this was a lot harder, but now, knowing I have a fat man, I was able to kill the Queen in about 4 mini-nukes, giving us another trophy, taking independence. We would head back to Sanctuary to build the molecule teleporter into the Institute. This would also give us another trophy. After entering the Institute, we would finally reunite with our son, Son. At the age of 10, he was still a young, bright boy who had time to be able to develop and mold, and turns out he was actually just a synth, and that this old guy is actually my son, who's now older than me and wants me to call him father. After introducing myself to his subordinates, we would then get another trophy. After doing so, we would head back to Sanctuary to talk to Sturgis, where we'd start the Sanctuary quest, where he would want us to go build food, water, beds, shelter, and defenses for Sanctuary as a people, so they can live as a settlement. And knowing that I was going to use this place for the Benevolent Leader achievement, I knew I had to get started on it soon enough, so with the happiness of 13, I began building, and eventually would get the achievement for Sanctuary. To continue working for my son, aka father, I would head toward the course where was supposed to be standing, but was taking a swim and would eventually go underwater, so I kinda had to do everything by myself, so I walked across this tightrope and cleared out the raiders all by myself. Then the courser finally wanted to show up at the end to take all the glory. Well, I didn't really care, as it didn't really bother me that much, so I let him have it, went back to Sean, and talked to him. He would then have me go attack Bunker Hill, but I wanted to warn the railroad first. Warning them about this kept me in their good graces, and being able to walk through Bunker Hill without having to fire a single bullet on anyone, as no one wanted to shoot me as I was on everyone's side. I was truly the middleman in everything going on in this world. I would eventually run into this Sense, let them go free, and have to turn on the courser who guided me through this place. And he was kind of having a rough time having to deal with my betrayal. He was just laying on the floor crying, so I just took this time to line up the headshots with my double barrel and just put him out of his misery. I would head back to Father, or Sean, and he didn't really seem to care that much. He was upset about my betrayal. Well, I guess he suspected I betrayed him. After sitting through a boring meeting, I would finally get another achievement, so I guess that was good payoff for all those quests. Switching up the sides, I would decide to go work for the Brotherhood of Steel, doing some quests for them, just so I could get achievements and be prepared for multiple saves. I would flirt with Piper a bit, and when I tried to romance her, she would deny me. It would seem that I can't even find love in a video game. But there is a bright side to this, and that is that I maxed out her happiness as a companion and would get an achievement for it. I guess that's good. Anyways, after hearing Paladin dance was a synth, we would head to his location, and in doing so, we would actually discover our 100th location, giving us another achievement. Convincing Max to let him go, we would then complete another quest, giving us another achievement. We would then turn on the railroad, going to kill every single one of them individually. I know, pretty cruel, don't worry, we will reload the save and keep them alive for their ending. Or will we? You'll have to find out, as we leveled up to level 25 upon returning to the Pridwin. We would then head to Mass Fusion, becoming an enemy of the Institute. But I didn't really care, as I was going to get everyone's ending, so this is just another step to take to get every achievement. No hard feelings, son, Sean, father, whatever you want to be called. Anyways, after bombarding Mass Fusion with a minigun, I would eventually go onto the roof, get the card, and then do a little power armor skip, jumping off the roof, skipping multiple floors of combat, as no one really has time to do those anymore. So we would enter from the ground floor, scan the card, go into the elevator, eventually get the core from the fusion reactor, escape, but first we had to fight the sentry bot, and he was kind of a piece of cake with the railgun, so he died pretty quickly. We would eventually put the core into Liberty Prime. He would begin his march towards the Institute, and we would finally liberate this world free of sense. Liberty Prime would make short work of the Institute floor, allowing us into the building. We would then talk to Sean on his deathbed of dying of old age. Not many people can say their son died of old age before them. We would then enter into the terminal, find out where the reactor was, shutting down all sense and security on the building. We were going to make sure that we ended these people for once. So as I looked at Sean with his final breaths, and he finally died in my hands, I had no impact on his death whatsoever. We would then make our way into the reactor room where we would place the bomb to blow up the Institute. We would then head out and look out on the world one last time, looking at the Commonwealth with the Institute in it. We would then press the detonator, ridding the world of sense and the Institute for good, at least in the save file. As the explosion went off, I knew I did the right thing. It was for a trophy. It had to be the right thing, otherwise they wouldn't put it here, right? Something told me that I was right, but was I? As the world faded to black, I started questioning myself. Did I do the right thing? Did I? But I got 2 trophies out of it. It must have did good. Anyways, time to reload the save, go back to the Institute side, and go into mass fusion this way, on the side of the Institute. Sorry, Brotherhood, you had your time to shine, but it is now the Institute's time. We would get the mass fusion reactor, head out, we would fight the sentry bot once again. This time I would summon a bunch of Siths, instantly kill it with a shotgun, blow up, sit through another meeting, get another achievement. I would head to the railroad to protect them from the Brotherhood of Steel. They were trying to lash back at me. And after talking to the railroad, we would decide to lash back at them. We would attack the police station, hijack a vertibird back to the Pridwin, and this is where I would do what I like to call the Stealth Boy Jet Power Armor Steel combo. And let me just tell you what that is. So I got into the Pridwin, popped a bunch of jet to get addicted, popped a Stealth Boy, sprinted through the halls to a Power Armor, hit another jet because I ran out, jumped over a toolkit into a light and a beam, into the Power Armor for extra protection. And I tried doing this without the Power Armor and I got incinerated. So this Power Armor was definitely needed. After doing so, I would run across the top beam, placing the explosives. I would head out on the vertibird, and we would watch as the Pridwin exploded. That's what they get for coming back at the railroad. Now, this was all for the perfect trophy, Red Rocket Glare. And as after I got that trophy, I realized the railroad were useless to me. I didn't need them anymore. So I followed my Institute son, killing the railroad once and for all. And in doing so, I would fail a mission, but in turn would complete a mission. And I would get the last story-related trophy. After my son died in my arms this time, I would complete the game. No more story, all that is left is DLC and miscellaneous. So I started going to Sanctuary, building decorations to get Benevolent Leader as quickly as possible. And it would turn out to be the last trophy I got. So I'm glad I started when I did. Otherwise, I would have been there for way longer than I was, and you guys wouldn't be seeing this video when you're seeing it right now. I would place my 100th object, getting another trophy. I would head back to the castle to complete the Old Guns quest, where I had to go underground into the armory. I would have to fight a bot named Sarge, unlock the armory, and then build an artillery cannon. I'd have to assign someone to the cannon, and once I did, we would do a test run, firing off a missile at a unexpected building. And they could have just sent one off, but they sent about 20 off. We got the achievement though, tomato, tomato. We would then head into our first DLC missions. We would head into Vault 88. Now this is one of the DLCs that I've known nothing about. Didn't see anything on the internet about it, so I went in completely blind. After clearing out some ghouls, I would then talk to the former overseer. I say former for a reason, because soon I will be the overseer. I placed down her terminal, and for some reason she didn't want to get up, so I just decided to kill her, and in doing so I actually got the trophy. So I kind of just skipped her whole story mission. Anyways, I'm now the overseer. So then I cleared out the rest of the building, unlocking the rest of the workshops, giving me another trophy. I would then head off to Nuka-World. Now this was probably my least favorite DLC. And while it was good story-wise, it was just so slow and boring that it just felt like a slog to me. I would go through the gauntlet with ease, really. It wasn't that much of a difficult. I will say the Coulter boss fight, oh, I wanted to die. You had to spray him with the gun, and then you had to actually shoot him. It was a whole ordeal. But we finally made it to him. I would then talk to Gage. He would then tell me about the gun. Then I would go into the arena for combat. And this was like cool and all, but I don't know. I feel like it could have been better, but it also could have been way worse. And doing all the cleanup missions for this, it was just really boring, and I ended up making Preston Garvey mad at me. Like, he won't even talk to me anymore. That's kind of why later on you'll see him fighting a bot in the arena, because I just kind of got mad. Anyways, I got the achievement, taken for a ride. That's cool. And then I got another achievement for picking 50 locks finally. I would then go and ordain all 3 of the flags to the respective pack leaders, the disciples, and the operators. I would then fight Oswald up in his castle, and doing so, I would actually level up to level 50. This was the last level up achievement, so I didn't have to worry about what my level was or when I would get them. So now I could just kind of cruise through the game at a cool breeze of level 50. I would then put up another flag, then head to Dry Rock Gulch, where I would kill the Bloodworm Queen, set up another flag, completing all of them, and then would start working on the side quest of the side quest. I would then head back to the Commonwealth to set up the outpost in the Commonwealth, as we already set up in the Nuka-World. Doing so would give me another achievement after I set up 3. The disciples were angry about how I divvied out all the places, so they wanted to revolt against me. I would then kill Nisha, get another achievement, completing the Nuka-World story. I would then do 12 side quests, which were like the Preston Garvey ones, boring, repetitive, and a slog. I don't know how that passed. I would go after the Nuka recipes, collecting all 15, already having 5, to make the 20 that I needed in the workshop. This would give me another trophy. I would then set off to kill 40 Nuka-World enemies with the effect of a Nuka-World drink, and after spending about 2 days, not in-game time, I would officially, finally, as the 40th trophy in this game, give it. And as you can see, I was very ecstatic as I killed so many enemies. I would then start collecting the scav magazines and would eventually get them. I would then head back to the Commonwealth to set up 8 more outposts with Shank. After clearing them out, I would officially get this trophy as well, only leaving 1 Nuka-World trophy left, the most time-grueling one out there. It was super grindy. I used the basketball method because I felt like it was the fastest way to get tickets, and it was nauseating having to watch that basketball go up and down. I couldn't look away because if I did, I would miss the hoop. I would officially get the trophy, finish off Nuka-World, and head for Far Harbor. I would then get the first trophy there after arriving to Far Harbor, far from home. I would then kill actually my 300th person in Far Harbor, which was pretty cool. Got that trophy as well, clearing up the miscellaneous. I would then go talk to Dima and Acadia, and then I would finally meet Kasumi, the person who'd gone missing and her family had sent me to look for. She would tell me her suspicions of Dima as a person, and as a detective that I am, I would decide to help her out. I would hack into one of his friend's terminals, finding out his memories had been taken and they were offshored somewhere. I would report this back to Kasumi, unlocking another trophy. I would then head into Dima's memories, and this was a grind of a puzzle. I would then find out he had killed someone named Avery. I would dig up her corpse, find the holotape to Skull, and then confront Dima about these matters. Doing so would unlock me another trophy. I would then discover all 20 locations of Far Harbor, and then I would go do the captain dance where I had to throw meat into a pond and fight a Murloc. I would end up fighting the Murloc Queen, who would actually be an easy opponent and would actually be my 5th behemoth monster killed, or I guess giant monster. Behemoth is already a monster. Doing so would give me a trophy. I would then complete another quest, giving me another trophy, unlocking all 3 workshops in Far Harbor. I would get the 5th magazine, giving me another trophy. I would then spend the rest of the time in Far Harbor killing all water creatures, giving me another trophy. that was a tough one. I would return Kasumi back home, getting another trophy, finally picking up the make a recipe trophy for making a food from Far Harbor. I would then start putting all armor and weapons on an armor stand for another trophy. I would then build every type of cage for another trophy, and would then begin sleeping for mutant hounds to tame 5 docile creatures in a settlement. After doing all those, I would then begin working on crafting 100 items, making 50 mods, and also getting 100 of the Pillboy or whatever items. I would then start an arena with pressing Garvey and a bot, and would then start working on the mechanical side of the DLC. It was alright DLC. I really didn't pay too much attention to the story. It was kind of walk in the park. It was very short compared to Far Harbor and Nuka-World, which I was glad for. I got the first trophy of it. I then got another trophy for completing headhunting, and would then get another trophy for getting 10 robot parts. I would then talk my way out of the final boss fight, getting her to give up peacefully, getting the last story-related trophy. I would then head back to the castle to build the 10 upgrades for a robot, completing this DLC all entirely. I would then ally with 3 settlements. I would then start working on collecting the bobbleheads, getting the first 10, and then eventually the last 20. In doing all this, I would then equip a Pip-Boy and a vault suit to Settler for another achievement, and these are all the achievements that I didn't get footage of me getting, but I did get. Now these, I lost the footage or I either ran out of storage. I'm sorry for that, but I did get these achievements. I just don't have the footage for them, so here are all the ones that I didn't get. Now, coming up on the very last achievement, Benevolent Leader. I would spend so much time, many hours, building bars and all that, and eventually my happiness would slowly go up over about 2 hours, and then finally I'd get the last achievement after reaching 100 happiness. And I have to say that this was an amazing journey, and I wish I could do it over again. Actually, I take that back, I don't. It took a very long time to do all these achievements. It was actually, for all 84 achievements, it was 40 hours, 40.1 hours, so I guess 40 hours and 10 minutes of time. I started it all the way back in early April. It was actually April 13th, the first achievement I got, and I finally finished it April 25th. So that's how long it took me to do all the achievements, and if you guys enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the near future with more achievement style videos. Peace out.